All right, welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today we are starting a very short series, the Phantom serial, the first live-action Phantom serial, and the only one. It's based on the comic strip, The Phantom, Lee Falk's comic strip, which was first syndicated to newspapers in 1936. So, this is the 90th anniversary of The Phantom. And before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about The Phantom, the ghost who walks, aka Kit Walker. And what do you think about serials in general? I'm always interested in that sort of thing because I find them pretty fascinating. And even though a lot of them are low budget and of questionable source, their source material, their respect for the source material is a bit questionable. I know as a kid I would have loved this. I never got to see The Phantom, but I saw Radar Men from the Moon and Undersea Kingdom, and they just were fun because they dressed up in outlandish costumes. I mean, The Phantom was one of the first masked superheroes of the comic strips. Be that as it may, if you could watch just a little longer, that would be great. So, having said all that, let's summon the ghost who walks from the Skull Cave in Bengala. All right, as you see here, this is a Columbia Pictures Corporation presentation, The Phantom with Tom Tyler, who was also Captain Marvel from The Adventures of Captain Marvel, an excellent serial as well. And Jean Bates is Diana Palmer, who is the Phantom's girlfriend, even though, she knows it by now. The serial was released on December 24th, 1943. It's 15 chapters. We will be doing it over the course of 4 weeks with an extra bonus at the end because the last one would only be 3 chapters. So I do have a special for that, and I apologize in advance. But you'll have to watch them all to see what it is. So runs 299 minutes. It has been released on DVD, and it really needs to be upgraded because I'm going to apologize for the picture quality because it is very interlaced. So, Jean Bates, what was she in there? Return of the Vampire and Shadows in the Night. So, she did Mulholland Drive with David Lynch as well as Eraserhead. 2 movies I have never seen. But, he's a student of his film history, so that's not surprising. All right, The Sign of the Skull is chapter 1, which runs 28 minutes, 22 seconds. Normal for this. The first chapter was always the longest, so the rest of them ran 17-ish minutes afterwards. And The Sign of the Skull. See what I mean by the interlacing? Yeah. This is the jungle of, what does it call it? I don't even know. But they're all talking about the Phantom, whether he's alive or not. Back here is Godfrey Prescott, and that's Diana Palmer, and Max Bremer, Dr. Max Bremer, and some other people here. They all have various reasons to be here. Now, Godfrey Prescott was given the secret identity or the identity of the Phantom. In 1943, he was only known as, I don't even know if he was known as Kit Walker. His real name was introduced into the comic strip as Kit Walker, but he went by Mr. Walker, which we will see. It's pretty true to the source material overall, I think. I mean, and it's a serial. It's low budget. It probably made money. There's Diana looking very much like Diana, and she's spicy too. And then that's Tom Tyler there as Godfrey Prescott. So they're talking about the Phantom. He shows up. There's his father, the 20th Phantom, because I believe that it's probably still continuity that he's the 21st Phantom, though he's been doing it for 90 years. Most Phantoms do not live very long or have children and then die. Their son, but their daughters have occasionally assumed the mantle of the Phantom. That's why they're the ghost who walks, the man who does not die. Natives, sorry. He gets zapped in the neck with a poison dart, and his faithful servant there, who is not, geez, I just drew a blanket. In other media, come on, where's the movie? There it is. Um, I'll tell you, Guran, that's his name, right? Yeah, Guran, who is his loyal friend for the most part. That is not Guran. They still hadn't. I mean, it was the Phantom had only been around for 7 years, so they were getting a lot. They were still adapting things, learning. The lore had not been set yet. There's two of our villains, Singapore Smith, and I want to say maybe Professor Davidson. I don't know which one, but they're after the seven keys to the lost city of the Zolas. It's got treasure. It's on 7 pieces of ivory, so they've killed probably 7 elephants to do it. And yeah, there's Singapore Smith here, who's played by Joe Devlin. And they're all talking about it. And then this gentleman here is Rusty Fenton, who's sending a telegram to Godfrey. Well, and says, you have to come home. Well, we'll see it here. Your dad's sick. And there is Devil, who is a German Shepherd here, but obviously a wolf in the movies or in the comic strip and comic books and the movie, because there's only been one, sadly. He interrupts these guys. A fight breaks out. Devil, if he moves, eat him. I love the 96 movie. We will be reviewing that possibly on its debut some 30 years ago. Geez, 30 years. So Tom Tyler was just an amazing. I believe he was a former stuntman. He was also the Mummy Karis in The Mummy's Hand. We've talked about him already. So he was an imposing figure. So they give him to Singapore Smith, who just promptly lets him go because he's the bad guy too. More bad guys. There we go. Jeffrey gets his thing. Melville University. They forwarded it to him, Rusty. So Saipana is where they are, which is somewhere in Africa. We'll never know. So he gives his party a note and says that he can't. He's been abruptly called away, and they think that he's stolen the 5 or 6 pieces of ivory that they need. So he's the villain right now. They think that Godfrey's the villain. Fortunately, Diana doesn't believe it. There he's with his dad because a man may not look upon the face of the Phantom and live. So he shows him everything, the treasures, and some tricks to trick the natives to keep them in line for peaceful intent, right? That is what it was. And there's one of his. Oh wait, that's one of the bad natives, Choda or Chonga. Sorry, I don't remember his name, but you can see the de-interlacing. I just wish there is a colorized version out there, and you know me and colorization, not going to happen. There he is as the next Phantom, and there he's younger. So they have to figure out a way to explain Devil, and they do, which is reasonable. And then we leave him. The Phantom's fallen into quicksand, of course, in the back lots of Los Angeles, pretending to be Africa, and a crocodile shows up to get him. The man who never dies. So we had a recap. So these, you get 2 minutes of a recap. So really, these were very economical because you didn't have to shoot that much after that first episode. There's also usually a recap episode in many of them in the middle of the series, so you could, in case you missed an episode, you'd know what was going on. Fortunately, Devil saves him, and the crocodile just wanders off because they're really not meat eaters, and he'd have to dive into the goo, the quicksand, to get the Phantom. Devil's really smart. He's played by Ace the Wonder Dog, who is not credited on Wikipedia, but you do see him in all of the advertisements. Blah 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 blah. Jeffrey or Godfrey, blah blah blah. And now they have to. I think you can see his underwear there. He does cut a striking Phantom, It's comic book accurate or comic strip accurate costume. He's got his guns and his skull ring. I don't. He does not have the ring with the three P's to indicate friendship of the Phantom. This guy gets shot in the back with an arrow, and a gun battle ensues. Now he goes to the village and talks to this guy who is with the bad guys and says, lock him in there. I'll be back for him. Don't do it again, or I'll burn down. I'll burn down your village. And he lets him put it out because he's not a bad man, but he does use a little fear and intimidation. They think he's, a ghost and immortal and has magic powers. Dun dun dun. And finally, he's not paying attention. His father would be very annoyed. And a lion shows up. Guess who gets attacked by a lion? Now, the Traitor's Code. A Traitor's Code. Chapter 3. And the lion, his Guran there shows up. I know it's not Guran, but that's what I'm going to call him. Kills the lion, throws a spear into him, and saves him. He's out of breath, so he did a good job there. And he shows up. They're talking a little smack about the Phantom, how he doesn't exist, and then bingo. Now he reminds Diana of somebody she knows, but she doesn't know who. Can't quite place him. These three wind up, and they send him upriver to Blackie's, and they take their guy that the Phantom said, don't, leave him here. I need to bring him to justice. But look, he's got smacked. There's the skull ring, and that will not come off ever. It's it's just really iconic. Lee Falk was just really, really really well done there. He did not like this serial. He thought it looked like it was shot in a telephone booth, and he probably wasn't wrong. But he just, or actually, whoever owned it, King Features, maybe? I don't know. Let's see if it said if I can find a King Features, of course. So, but they could have said, you have to spend a certain amount of money and make it a feature film, and it would have been probably a better movie. Columbia did make good movies, and they did, have the Stooges. So here they are talking about they're going to build an airstrip in Africa for some reason in 1943. Oddly enough, there are no Nazis here, so it does not age too. It's not. You don't think that it's set. You wouldn't know it was set in 1943. More jibber jabber. The Phantom goes back and says, "Where's my guy?" They're like, "No, the bad guys came and took him and ran away." He turns his staff into a king cobra, which was not native to Africa, but it's a good-looking snake, although I'm pretty sure that's not a real one. Then he changes it back into a stick. Now they're really convinced he's a ghost. And he's just wandering around looking for prints. There's a nice picture of a leopard, because jaguars would be in or a cheetah. It's probably a leopard. Cheetahs, they can climb trees. It's true. He's like, come, we need help. Off they go. And he's like, he called this I don't remember, it had like a bopping arrow or something. Knocks out one of the guys, a firefight ensues, another fight ensues. There's a grenade here by the Phantom, and oh no, the hut's blown up with the Phantom inside. Or is it? Don't you believe it? Here's our first picture of the Phantom as Mr. Walker, aka Kit Walker, in the future. Chapter 4, Seat of Judgment. The Seat of Judgment. He gets out. He sees the grenade and jumps out the window just in time. He wakes up and sees it. So he's alive. The party needs new porters. The Phantom brings them to the Skull Cave. And there's Diana. And I forget what this dink's name is, but they're still blaming Godfrey. I don't know why I call him Jeffrey. So Moku is one of the, I think that's Moku, maybe not Garan. Moku has dark hair. That might be Garan, but he says you need help. We have to pass judgment. Off he goes, and and Diana's all, he's got the power of, he's got more power than God. Our villains are trying to figure out where the seventh piece is, and they got Rusty Fenton's wild animals shipped to all parts of the world. Well, I don't agree with that, but Rusty's a good guy, and obviously Devil likes him. And boy, that costume, that is eerily accurate to the comic strip. The Phantom confronts Singapore Smith, beats him up a little bit. Then he beats up these three guys, even though they pulled a gun on him. But they escape because there's more of them, and they're loading the guns to take to the where the airstrip's going to be. And he tells Devil to stay there, and off they go. Unfortunately, Rusty gets clocked. Don't shoot him; you'll bring out the whole town. So let's just poison them. So they pipe in poison gas, and that is where we leave. Don't fail to see Chapter 5, The Ghost Who Walks, 5 through 8. Next week, same bat time, same Phantom channel. The Phantom does live in a cave, right? Very cool cave with the Skull Cave. He does have a cool ride, but the ride is a horse named Hero, who's not in here. So tomorrow, that is our review for today of the first 4 episodes. Again, let me know what you think about it. If you've watched this far, bless you. And tomorrow we will be reviewing the sequel, the semi-sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Shock Treatment. Trust him. He's a doctor. I really like this movie. But until then, my fellow agents, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
Say ah. That's very good. Hello, I'm Dr. Cosmo McKinley. I'd like to tell you about a new film from the gang that gave you the Rocky Horror Show. Shock Treatment.
I'm not a locum with motive to suture myself. I've been a cynic for too many years. Playing doctor and nurse, it can be good for your health. I've seen clinics with those gimmicks in Tangiers. But if you open your heart to a smooth operator, he'll take you for all that you've got. He'll hand you a curse that'll be with you later. It'll shake you the way he takes off, like a shot. You need a bit of shock treatment. Get you jumping like a real live wire. Need a bit of shock treatment. So look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a pistol that'll mystify ya.
You're blinded by romance, you're blinded by science. Your condition is critically grave. But don't expect mercy from such an alliance. Suspicion of tradition, so you wave.
You need a bit of
Shock treatment.
get you jumping like a real live wire. Need a bit of
Shock treatment.
so look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a sister that'll certify ya.
Fire, fire.
You need a bit of
Shock treatment.
get you jumping like a real live wire. You need a bit of
Shock treatment.
so look out, mister, don't you blow your last resistor for a sister that'll certify ya.
You'll be pathetically crazy about shock treatment. Trust me. I'm a doctor.